Okay guys, what I would like to show you today is how to plan your color scheme using Pixlr. So let's look at the project directions real quick together. You should all be on the step right now where you've traced all of your shapes. You should have at least 3 of each object, and it should go off the page twice on each side. So here's my 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So every side it goes off at least twice. So make sure yours does that and make sure it looks balanced right there. Then you're going to go and you need to make yourself a stencil and you cut it out. You don't necessarily need the X-Acto knife. You should cut out most of the outside with your scissors. And then if you need a knife still, you can get one to cut out just the little inside pieces if you still need that, but you don't really need that. Then the next step is to trace that all throughout your design. I don't think I put a number of times on there, but it needs to overlap all of your shapes. I would say a good number, a minimum of 5 times. It can go off the side also, but remember, keep in mind the goal is still having a balanced composition where your stencil overlaps your shapes. So then when you're finished tracing all your shapes in stencil, I need you to take a photograph of this stage right here, this part. You can do it with photo booth, you can do it with your cell phone. I don't care what you do as long as you can get that picture onto the desktop of your computer. Then you go to Pixlr. Pixlr. And you scroll down to where it says Open, Launch Web App. So you launch the web app and you should be able to open your image now from your computer. And mine's on my desktop. So I can just open it up right here. So here's my picture. And now remember, the goal for this step is to plan the color scheme. I would suggest to start with the background color, and then that way you can see if the other colors will go with it, because the background's pretty much your largest area. So I'm going to pick my color. Let me show you how I did that again. You click on this box right here, and it will pull up the different color spectrum here. You can pick lighter blues, darker blues, whatever kind of blues you want. I'm going to choose this one. Let's see. We'll say that blue. Okay, and then you press OK. Then you select the paint bucket tool, and you'll notice that whatever color is here is the color it's going to fill in. You go ahead and start filling in the background. Make sure you try to fill in every little area of background that you can find. Background, background. So I'm not going to do all of this because I know you don't want to watch me fill in all my paintings. So I'm just going to go to the confusing part. If you notice that yours is spilling out, it's either because your outline is not connected or there's just something that happened when you photographed it. See how mine's kind of blurry right there? That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just for planning purposes. So after you fill in your background, then you start deciding what each object color is going to be, which your organic shape colors are going to be. So I'm going to start with my leaf. And I'm going to go with some sort of greenish tone for that. So that's a good green right there. So I press OK. And then I pick my leaf just in the main areas. And I do my green like that. But now what happens where it overlaps, where my fall letters overlap? That's where you need to decide, are you going to do the tint or the shade? A tint is anything plus white, a shade is anything plus black. So right here where my letters overlap, I want to pick a lighter green. So I can do that in here really easily. I could pick the lighter one on there and even make it lighter. And then press OK. So anywhere that my leaf is overlapped by the fall stencil, I'm going to fill in with the tint. Just where it's overlapping. And I'll figure out right in here. You guys will be able to figure that out. Some of your designs will be more overlapped than other areas. This is for you to make a nice key for yourself so it's not confusing when you go to paint this. You'll have a key to look at in front of you so that you don't get confused. Now all the colors that you use should stay down here in your palette for you, so now I can go back and click on my green and figure out where to fill the rest of that in. And if something's filling in and you don't want it to fill that in, or if it's overflowing, just use the paintbrush tool, which is right, that's not it. One of these is the brush tool right here. And just kind of mark it with a dot so you know that that's going to be the color. You don't have to fill the whole thing in. It's just a key. So it doesn't have to be totally filled in. It's just to mark so you know what color goes where. So that's pretty much it. The other thing I wanted to show you, let's say you wanted a specific color, or like you're doing a logo or something that has a specific color that you want to match. So for example, I did the squirrel. I'm going to save this picture because I like the color and I want to imitate that. So I right click, save the image. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. And then you can open it on Pixlr. And it's down here. I thought it was. I might have deleted it. Well, let's try this one. Here's the acorn color. So let's say I want to match the acorn color. All you do is you take this selector tool, it's like a little eyedropper, and whatever color it is I'm trying to match, because I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do for the acorn, so I wanted to look at a realistic one. So I can actually pick up that color by touching it with the eyedropper, and then it shows me what that color is there. So then I can go on here and I can fill that in here with the paint bucket. So it actually will match the realistic acorn. So that would work for anybody who's doing like college teams that have a specific color. If you wanted to match them, you just use the eyedropper tool on there. And keep in mind, all throughout here, you need to have a color for each one of your objects, plus the tint or shade. And then you need to have a color that's going to be on all of your stencils, something that will look nice and still go together with the whole scheme of it. So I think for my stencil, I might use like a reddish orange color to contrast that blue. I want it more orangey, not blue. Let's go with that one for now. Press OK. And so all of my letters are going to be the same color except where they overlap my patterns. So all of my letters will be the same except where they overlap. Oops, something's popping up. When you're done with this, I do need you to submit it on Google Classroom. There's a spot for you guys. I'll show you where. In your class, there's a thing that says Pixlr color scheme, or there will be. I'll make a spot for you that says Pixlr color scheme. It will look like this right here. Pixlr color scheme. I want you to attach the picture. So all you have to do is save it. You can save the page or you can screenshot it. It's up to you. File, save, stencil traced. I'll save it as my color scheme. And then you just upload that to Google Classroom and you should be done. If you have any questions at all, just email me, but it is our goal to finish this step by next class. If you don't think that you can do that, you can work on this step at home, but everybody should be traced by the end of class. All right, thank you guys.